there. This is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange, and we have a good show for you guys today. Before we get started, of course, you guys see the topics on the right side. We want to see how Ernie is doing on this beautiful Sunday. It was a gorgeous day today out here in California. What you do, Ernie?
Oh, it was a beautiful 80-degree weather out here in California. We can't complain. We're enjoying the West Coast weather, and we're all into spring training baseball. There's a lot of changes going on already in week one. We're excited to talking baseball with you guys, and I hope if you're your first time listener, we hope that you like and subscribe to this video and continue watching us all season long.
Definitely. I'll go ahead and go through the topics, and we'll talk about the ABS system. The Yankees beer rule has changed, and we'll talk about our opinions. See if you like it, don't like the changes, and of course, we'll see if people get on here and start messaging. ESPN is leaving baseball, and MLB is leaving ESPN. So we'll talk about what holds, who is going to take over those reins, and hopefully we can be part of that, Ernie. So we need to do a good job on here, man. And then who is the third baseman for the Red Sox? There's a lot of drama going on in Boston, and it seems like it's not a drama that the players are creating themselves, but maybe the media is pushing it a little bit more than what they have to. So we'll get into that. Arenado to the Astros is coming up a lot lately, and it seemed like Arenado didn't want to go to the Astros at first, but now it's kind of like where the Cardinals are kind of pushing and for him to accept. So we'll talk about him as well. And then Vladdy, free agent or possibly a trade this year. And we'll talk about that as well. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk about the ABS system. And you want me to play the video, or you want to give a little bit of background on what's going on with the ABS? Because a lot of people don't know what the ABS is.
Well, it's called the automatic ball strike system. It's a thing that's been tried out in the minor leagues all last season. It's coming to the MLB. It basically gives the opportunity for a coach, a pitcher, or a batter to challenge the strike or ball. So here's an example. First day in baseball, you see Max Muncy taps his head, and he basically calls, "I want a challenge." And it's a beautiful thing, Carlos, because we get to experience a strike here when it originally was called a ball. So what do you think about this call? Is it a good thing for baseball?
So we've talked about it, and now I need to give my opinion to everybody that's on here. But we talked about it, and I feel like maybe that sense of being an umpire is not going to be there anymore, where he messes up and the third strike happens, and if you call a challenge and it wasn't a third strike, as a fan, you're going to be like, "Oh man, I cheered too much."
No, for sure.
So I'm kind of caught in the middle, not until I see it evolve, kind of like with the timer and all this stuff. Remember, we talked about it 2 years ago when the timer was in. I was kind of on the fence on it. Now it's kind of a topic that's forgotten. There's nothing said, bad things said about that. And this one is possibly the next thing that we're probably going to be a few months into the baseball season. If it does happen this season or next season, we're going to just forget about it as well. It's going to be a norm. Like, we just have to adapt to it, right?
So you're still on the fence of this ABS system?
I am, because I'm old school, man. I'm really old school. I've talked about it on this show that I'm really old school. I like the way that umpires do it. Even if it's against my team, I've dealt with it. It's right. Where, like, I just feel like it's one of those calls that it needs to happen on judgment and right there on the spot. Now, if you have the robot in there, the ABS that's going to be on there, then more power to make it a better game. Then go for it. But once I see it in play, then I'll be able to kind of agree with it a little bit more, and I'm pretty sure I will. The timer, like I said, it took me a while, but I got into it, and now I really don't even know about the timer. I don't think anybody does. All right.
Yeah. Well,
what about you? You like it?
After 3 days of watching the ABS system, I'm all in. It's the best thing that could happen for baseball. I think Rob Manfred knows that he needs to attract the younger generation, and this is going to do it. Because all we could do every game is complain about the umpire. Day in and day out, we rate how bad of a ball or strike it was. This gives you the best opportunity for the umpire to go almost 100%. It sucks for them. I bet they're challenged, and then they get to see themselves screw up on the big screen saying like, "Damn, that was a bad call on my part." But hey, you're a human. You're going to make errors. And if this game, it has to be perfect. We've seen time and time again, teams get beat for a wrong call. And for baseball, it has to happen in a way. You imagine this. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth with bases loaded, and this umpire calls a bad strike. Wouldn't you had wanted to tap your helmet real quick and just give it a shot, and maybe you could get this call right for once?
Well, the thing is, we already experienced that, you know. Now with this, like you're saying, now you'll be able to correct it. Like I said, it's gonna take me time. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it played out. We did see it when you told me the day that it happened. It was the first, the video that we have footage is Muncie. I mean, that's the first call ever on the major leagues. I know it's spring training, but they're trying it out, right? So, I mean, it's going to happen. I think a lot of baseball players like it. A lot of pitchers like it. A lot of batters like it. And I mean, we're just going to have to see it evolve, and it's going to evolve. Ron Manfred is trying these new ideas and is working out. So good for him, right? And good.
Right.
Well,
I got
yeah,
one more point to so this
yeah,
is going to change a lot of things. This is going to require pitchers to throw down the middle and force them to throw some missing pitches, like pitches that the batters are going to like fool them, right? Because now you just can't throw those pitches where your catcher was known for framing. The Giants catcher Patrick Beatty's known for that. He's a
yeah.
guy that would frame all these pitches that would convert them from a ball to a strike. Now this just forces a pitcher to throw some great pitches out there, some nasty pitches for the batters to be fooled. I'm convinced that this is going to be a better thing for the game. We're going to see more offense. We're just going to see a little bit more. I know this could add more time to the game, but we already lost some time with the timer. It's going to balance out, and it only allows the team to do it twice.
Okay.
So it's only 2 times. And if you get it right, you get another shot. So it's not going to happen very often, Carlos.
It does. So it doesn't erase. So if you use the two of them and you got them right, that those 2 times you keep having those two.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. So I got a question then. So the catcher's framing is not going to be a thing anymore then.
It's going to affect it a little bit, right? Now
Yeah.
you're going to have catchers going to have to frame still, but it's not going to be as dependent like it once was. This is where catchers would make their bread because this is where they would be known for framing, and that's how they got recruited, to be honest.
Yeah.
So now this catcher position is in question because now anybody can just catch back there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the catchers I knew from the 90s and the early 2000s have nothing on the guys that are doing it now, because now you can't block the plate. You can't put your leg in front of the plate. You can't protect the plate when someone's running towards you like it did back in the 90s, early 2000s, right? Remember Posey got injured and they made that rule and you can't block the plate anymore. And that's part of the rule, right?
Yeah.
Now, the ABS system, you're not going to be able to frame. So now what is it that the catcher can do? Just catch the ball back there, make sure you catch it. And of course, you're still going to be able to frame it. What about the two? You already used up your 2 ABS calls, and you continue the game. Now you can go ahead and frame it. There's no calls after that, right? So
yeah, it's been an interesting weekend. This AB system is in a trial error right now in the MLB spring training games. It's not available in every stadium, and we've seen some funny incidents where there's been some games where guys are calling for the ABS system, and they got to remind them, not in this stadium. You got to wait for the next time we have it in the right stadium. It's been a bit of a confusion for these guys right now. It's been interesting. It looks like the players like it, though. It comes to a point where just today the Angels were losing 14-1, guys. And Christian Moore, he gets struck out, and he calls for the ABS. Like, it's a 13-run difference. Like, there's no need to call for this ABS call anymore. But, hey, man, he's using it. He wants to prove a point. Like, hey, that wasn't a strike. I should get that walk instead for my stat. You know what I mean? How many times have guys been called out, striked out when they should have walked like half the times?
True. And that always happens on a 3-0 count. Usually that you get a strike no matter where that ball is. You'll call it, you know what? There's no point in getting another pitch. Or maybe if you're a batter, you're like, you know what? It wasn't a strike. It was a ball, but or whatever it is, they call it so they can get an extra pitch. I can.
You want to talk about old school? Yo, guy Terry Francona, who just got signed with the Reds this offseason, will be coaching them this year. He told his team, we will not be using the ABS system this spring training. What are your thoughts on that?
Try it out. I think, look, I'm old school, but I'm willing to try everything out that is there. If it's available, why not? You don't want to be one of those coaches that are not using it and then get to the season and then Bamford says, we are going to use it because it was so successful in spring training. And that could happen. It's happened with other rules, right? It's happened to where they discuss some things during spring training and bam, season comes around. We're going to put the runner at second base after extra innings, and boom, it's going to happen. I don't think Terry Francona is in his right senses. I think he should really think about those things because it affects his team. And if they're playing a important game during the season and they had the chance to use it, but they don't know how to use it, that's going to affect the team. And I don't like that.
Definitely, definitely.
I don't like that. I don't
I
like
could
that.
see Manfred just making the call and see the success it's having in spring training and just making it official this year, year
Yeah,
one.
yeah. That's what they already did it in minor leagues. Why not use it now? And
Yeah,
we're using it in spring training. Let's go and use it during the season. So
definitely.
yeah, definitely, man. Was that your last point, or we got
That
our
was my
points
last
across?
point. I just wanted to
We're
bring
good.
up your boy Terry Francona, since you're an old school type MLB guy.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's go to the next one, man. Let's talk about the Yankees, which is another old school thing that happened. And the beards, dude. The Yankees are going with beards this year since 1970, where they allowed the mustache and a little bit of hair. What are your thoughts on this?
Hey, we were just talking about it last week. Finally, the Yankee players could finally breathe and let their beard grow. That 5 o'clock shadow could finally come in and be okay with it. I'm all for it, man. It was definitely affecting a lot of players, man. You cannot tell me there were, like you mentioned, the superstition plays a big role in baseball players. They need that beard to perform at a higher level. Not only that, you missed out on a lot of free agents this year and possibly the past decades just because you had this stupid rule in my rule book. I don't see why you even bring it up. I get that you want to be nice and clean, but it's all about the scruffy look, Carlos. And I think that's where the Yankees had been messing up this past decade. And I think that's why they haven't been winning since 2009. Because now you could have gotten all these top free agents with a lot of beard. Just saying.
And that's good you mentioned that because I got 2 points of view on this because I have the business side of it where there's players that are not going to the Yankees because they do not want to go ahead and shave and get rid of their personality. Because whether you like it or not, if you're a man out there that wears a beard, that's a personality that you have. If you have long hair, that's a personality that you have. And if you're really superstitious on those things, because baseball players are known to be really superstitious, that's a big killer for the Yankees. Now, the business side, they're allowing it. When I was a kid and I used to see the Yankees and I used to be in my backyard, I would say, "Oh, I will be a Yankee and I'll be go ahead and shave." And I know the clean shaven and all that. And I used to like that because when I saw the Yankee uniform, I saw it like a business suit. I would see the players going to playoffs. Every October, the Yankees will go to the playoffs and you'll see them coming into the stadium with their suits. When they wear those suits and they wear those Yankee uniforms, it kind of relates to each other. So it was a classy look, right? And you saw them clean shave. So I'm on the other side because I feel like tradition it needs to be there sometimes. I know they're going to allow the to be clean and everything. It has to still be clean, and I like that. But at the same time, the tradition is kind of broken with the Yankees, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. We'll go ahead and I'll put a video of Johnny Damon on here. So
I just heard that the Yankees are not requiring people to cut their hair, trim their beards, and you can always have your mustache. But I think we need to keep it how it was with respect to Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Derek Jeter, and Mariano.
Bunions.
I don't know, man. Johnny Damon looked like he was high on that one. That's why I put that last clip on there.
Oh man, Johnny Damon is not for it, which is a big shocker for me. This guy has the longest hair, the biggest beard when he was with Boston. He came in, changed his look, and still performed at a high level when he was at that Yankee uniform. But he's one of many that did go well for him. You got guys like Phil Bickford last year, looked terrible. The guy shaved everything. 5 days later, it gets cut. That was unfair to him.
Yeah.
You see, Devin Williams just last week, he had to shave his beard, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He didn't look right, and he's going to be one of those that's going to finally let it grow. I wonder if he's the one that made the difference and finally spoke up and made a change. You know, the son, Hal Steinbrenner, talked to all the players, ex-players, and they were all cool with it, breaking the tradition. It's still going to be clean, Carlos. You know, you're talking about a beard like this, and it's going to be nice and lined up. And it costs a lot of money to have a beard these days. Let me just tell you, you need a lot of beard oil, a lot of beard products. And it's not cheap, man. When people ask me how much is a haircut, you're like, I gotta remind them it's because I have a beard. That's an extra haircut, you know?
Yeah. You have to have it nice and trimmed.
And it's a nice different look, man. But you're totally right. There's players that definitely are affected buy the change of luck, and that's their personality. You have Alex Verdugo, another example. The guy underperformed the second half of the season, and I'm not sure if the beard had anything to do, but I know if he was going to the World Series, he would probably be letting his beard grow out to, go to the finals and make sure he performs well. Definitely. What are your thoughts? Aaron Judge already said he's not going to grow his beard. Since he's a captain, he's those type of guys that's, I'm not going to break the tradition, He has to look like the captain.
And that's good, dude, because that's good you brought him up. I feel like maybe because he's a team captain, he'll probably tell the guys like, hey, you know what? Let's try to do the right thing and go the Yankee way. Let's try it. Maybe I'm just speculating at this point. But if he does do that and the players don't come out with a beard and you kind of have like, oh damn, they respect this guy. Let's win the World Series first, and then let's go ahead and change that up. Maybe, right? Because that's a motivator, right?
I totally agree. I think you're right. I think Judge is going to tell his players, hey, don't grow your beards unless you're struggling and you want to change something up, then I'll let you grow your beard.
Yeah. And I think that's what's going to happen. And
you'll have the exception.
Yeah, the exception. Exactly. So look, I wanted to talk about Garrett Cole. I just put the beards. I didn't put the beard and no beard. I'm just looking at stats.
That's a huge difference, by the way. Just want to say
it is, dude. It is, because look at the ERAs. I know in 2023, Garrett Cole had a good ERA at 2.63, and that was the best ERA he had with the Yankees. But with Houston, he had two seasons that he was great. 2.88 in 2018. 2 and 2019 2.50, and he had a beard and he had his little hair going, and this is the type of things that I was telling you about. He's probably one of those pitchers that needs to be in his feelings with the beard, with the hair, and he needs to kind of have that I don't know, that control of him being himself, that superstition of being himself. Like I just feel like Garrett Cole, I mean, it's going to be a different pitcher if he lets that beard grow and he lets the hair a little bit grow. You have to groom it, of course, but yes, if he has that option, then he'll be a little bit more loose out there, and that's where I feel like the Yankees are going to benefit from this. But first, I got a feeling that Aaron Judge is going to do that, and he's gonna tell his players, let's win a World Series first. Let's get a motivator to why we deserve to have the beard and why we deserve to be like the other teams. Now, the other side of it, I'll go ahead and say it. I feel like if the Yankees want to do that, I felt like maybe they shouldn't because, like I said, when I was a kid, I looked up to the Yankees and saw the organization be the top of everything, every sport. And you're looking at it kind of like a law firm. If you go to a law firm and you say, that's number one, and all of them shaved, I want to be like them. Right? Okay. I want to do what they're doing. I want to wear that uniform like they wear it. So I grew up watching that. And like I said, the Yankees were going to playoff every year. Why not look at a team like that? Just like the Braves. The Braves in the 90s, they were going to playoffs every year. And I would look at their style. I would look at Davis Justice with his, earrings and big chains. And I'm like, oh, damn, that looks pretty cool. Not that I was going to do it, but I would look at that, right? So that's where I come from. It's not that I'm against it. I'm for it. I have a beard. I like it. So, I mean, I know that I'm pretty sure there's a lot of older gentlemen out there that are Yankee fans that hate it right now. And there's the younger generation that have beards and they're like, you know what? This is cool. They're allowing them to be themselves. So,
yeah, there's definitely a lot of mixed emotions with this rule. You have the old school Yankee fans and old school players are saying, they should keep it with the tradition. And then you have a younger generation who's also on the fence, not sure what they feel about it. We'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be interesting to finally see a Yankee player with a beard after 50 years. So,
all right. What player do you think is going to grow his beard that you do not expect?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Do you think Giancarlo Stanton will do it?
No,
he'll kill. I know Judge is not going to do it. He already said he's not going to do it. What about Cody Bellinger?
Well, Cody's always had a beard.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely going to grow his. That's given. Give me a Max Fried. I'm going to be shocked when Max Fried has a beard.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay. I kind of feel like I said, I don't think no one's going to grow it. I'll be shocked if anybody grows it at this point. So we'll see how long that lasts. Maybe Devin Williams will grow it back.
Yeah, for sure. He has to. He's a closer. He needs to feel good to play good.
Yeah, he needs to feel good.
And that's what the beard does for you sometimes. It It gives you your personality, and it makes you perform at a level different because you feel different once you have it.
Yeah, that's superstition, and I'm really superstitious. So let's go ahead and move on, man. Manfred had another win, and that's surprising for us to say that because we always hate on this man. But he's been doing good things. Like you said, he did the ABS. Now he's going after ESPN, not renewing that contract. And I've been seeing ESPN not doing their due diligence or not putting anything in baseball. I don't even go to ESPN anymore like I used to.
Yeah, it's bad.
Right? So that's good. That's good. I think it's good because we don't see baseball in there. And whenever they do talk about baseball, it's negative. It's all negative. There's never a positive show on there. There's never an hour long of baseball. It's just a few minutes. It's just something that's not really like cool at all, man. So, what are your thoughts on that, Ernie?
First and foremost, hey, what's up, Javi? Thank you for tuning in.
Oh.
He's finally able to catch a show with us. Thanks, man, for tuning in. Yeah, man, you're talking about it's the end of an era. ESPN is finally leaving the MLB. They decided they had 2 years left in the contract. Rob Manfred said it's time to cut it. It's not working out. You guys are not showing enough baseball. All they talk about is basketball and football all day long. We're not having football till August, guys, and they're going to talk about where Aaron Rodgers is going to go for the next 6 months. I'm sorry, but nobody wants to hear about a 41-year-old man where he's going to play next season because he's not going to do anything. Why not watch the hottest baseball player stars? You're talking about Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto and a new team. This is the biggest MLB has ever been in the past decade, Carlos. And for ESPN not to be promoting the game of baseball like that, it's not good for the game. So I think Rob Manfred was a big win here again. He's going to find another platform where he could stream all the games for people. You're going to pay probably a one-time payment deal of probably $100, and you'll get to watch all MLB games with no blackouts. And that's a goal for us fans. And we're able to find an app like Amazon Prime, which is like the heavily favored right now to gain the MLB rights. It'll be a huge win. What do you think? It would be great for the game?
Definitely, dude. I want the games to be available to every kid out there. And it should be. It shouldn't be blocked out. If you're a Dodger fan and you live in Los Angeles and you have that app, you should be able to watch the game. If you're a Houston fan and you're out in Texas and you want to see a game, you don't have to go get a cable network to see those games like they do out here in Los Angeles. I think you should. As a kid, I saw a bunch of baseball. I got to see in Turner station, which is TBS. I got to see the Braves. I got to see in what is it? WBC? I don't know what it's called.
Yes.
The right. I got to see the Cubs. I got to see a lot of baseball. I got to see the Angels, the Dodgers. I got to see Northern California with Prime Ticket. I got to see all these baseball games as a kid. And kids now, you ask them, can you see a baseball game? Can you go and tell me what's your favorite baseball player? They can't tell me this, dude. And that kind of makes me feel a little bit like, well, you're playing baseball and you don't know who's your favorite baseball player. You don't know who you're going to mimic. So this is a huge thing for Rob Manfred. If he does it right, this is going to be one of those things where Rob Manfred becomes one of the best commissioners out there because baseball is going to be allowed to be seen by anybody that wants to watch it. And I think it should happen that way because the sport's growing around the world. You have the WBC qualifiers happening right now, and we get to see those if you want to see them, right, on MLB Network. So I think if he can have teams be able to see those games, man, that'll be cool. That'll be amazing, dude.
What an end of an era, though, man. As a kid, ESPN was my way to go to watch MLB games, MLB highlights, Baseball Tonight, the Web Gems. Some great memories on ESPN. They showed a lot of great games in that network. Yeah. And it's sad to see it go, but at the same time, I'm glad because the game has to grow. And ESPN wasn't doing that for us. As an MLB fan and everyone out there in the world, a new app will be the difference. As streaming services, yes, we have to get another streaming services. Who cares? As long as you show 24/7 baseball, we're all in it, and I bet everybody will sign up for it. So we had a lot of great time with ESPN, but it's time to wave goodbye. And, sadly, Sunday Night Baseball is going to be gone, but it's okay.
Someone else will pick it up. Someone else will pick it up. Probably it'll be a channel like Sunday Night Football. Maybe they'll have it on ABC, NBC, somewhere there.
Exactly. Right now we have Turner Sports that does show some games. We have Fox that show Saturday night games.
Mhm.
FS1 shows Monday night games. Apple TV shows Friday night games.
I don't like that one.
Sunday morning has Roku. It's gonna have
Roku
to a
does.
point where I'm telling you, one app will have to control all of those games. So it's a good thing for baseball, man. ESPN doesn't care for baseball, so it's time to goodbye. They spend more money on NHL this year, and I was like, I'm sorry. Baseball is an all-time sport here in the United States. We gotta have baseball.
Yeah. Talking about the NHL, good thing you brought it up. How do you like the format that they had for the All-Star, dude?
Wow, that was a great one.
Right?
Everybody was tuned in Monday night watching the Face Nations face off. What is this? I was like, I'm sorry, but every major sport in America has to do this.
Yeah.
I am sorry, but going forward, the MLB has to be creative. We've talked time and time again how the All-Star game is kind of a waste of time. You know, it had a couple meaning a decade ago with whoever won was home field advantage.
Yep.
You know, it was cool, but people had mixed emotions about it. And now you're talking about a chance to make maybe 4 countries, something similar to what we just watched right now in the Winter League. What was this called? I'm so sorry, I'm blanking out. Maybe like one team from Dominican, one team from Puerto Rico, one team from Venezuela, and one team from U.S. And
you're talking about baseball, the Serie Caribe.
Serie del Caribe. Sorry, I couldn't remember, but yeah, Serie del Caribe, something similar like that. You put in every All-Star and see who wins.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny because I tuned in and they even asked me like, what are you watching? I'm like, NHL, everybody is.
I'm sorry, I don't watch hockey, but that made me tune in.
Yeah, it made me tune in too, and I was watching and I saw how the game was being played. It was aggressive. It was like, I want to win. I want to represent my country. I want to win for my country. So the anthems were playing. Everything was loud, and it was just amazing, dude. It was really amazing. Jamal, how's it going, dude? ESPN ain't what it used to be. It's not. They got rid of Baseball Tonight right away, and that was one of my favorite shows. I will catch up with everything there. What else? Web jams. Ernie said it earlier, so I agree. It's not what it used to be. So we're moving on. Hopefully that we can get something really, really good. Back. Yeah, that was amazing.
back. And that was a great moment in the home run derby with Chris Berman. And, those times are gone, guys. We have a new generation now. You either got to have the MLB app to watch all the games. It sucks, man. I'm sad that ESPN is gone. But it's for the better. It's for the better.
It is for the better. All right, let's go to the next topic. And this is why I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. Who is going to play third base for the Boston Red Sox? And for those of you that don't know what happened, I'll give you a clip here. And Devers doesn't seem like he's been told what he's going to be doing this season. So I'll go ahead and play it.
How would you react if they asked you to DH? How would you feel about that?
No. No sé, mi posición en la tercera base, no sé qué opinión ellos, como tu opinión no, como te digo, qué va a pasar, sino mi posición en mi tercera base y no me han dicho nada, tuvimos una conversación, pero yo le dejé claro lo que quería y no hemos hablado más.
Ooh, Carlos, translation. Basically, Devers is saying third base is my position, and I told him what I want, and they haven't talked to me about it. So this is high drama in Boston. It's week 1 in spring training, and the arrival of Bregman is causing already chaos in that locker room. It is wild. I have never seen something like this. You're talking about Devers that's currently on a 10-year contract. They go ahead and sign a perennial third baseman who's great defensively, and Devers hasn't been that great in defense in the past couple of years. So there's a lot of question marks. Who will be playing third base? When Devers got signed for this 10-year contract, there was a different GM in the picture. Now you bring Craig Breslow, and he's gonna do what's best for the team. So who do you see playing third base this year, Carlos?
Me? I'm gonna be honest, man. I'll give it to the Gold Glove guy, and that's Alex Bregman. And I just honestly feel like this is kind of like where teams. Okay, so let me start over. When you have a player that's been playing third base or any position on your roster, and you go ahead and sign another player that's gonna come and help with that situation. Remember, we talked about Bregman playing anywhere in the field to help this team get to the next level. Next level for the Red Sox is to get into the playoffs. They missed the 2023 and 2024 playoff because they didn't have a full roster that they can count on. So they went and got Bregman, and that adds value to that lineup. Now, putting him at third can give him a little bit more of an edge because he's a gold glove. You have Devers that had 17 errors last year. Then that could kind of cost the game. And we saw with the Yankees in the World Series this year, right? How their defense wasn't up to par with the other team. Now, with that said, you would have to go talk to Devers and let him know, like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get Bregman, but are you okay to move to first base, play third base, and be a DH when we need it, when we look at pitcher matchups? You have to talk to your star. And it seems like they didn't talk to him. They didn't take the time and said, look, man, we want to win the World Series. We signed you for the long haul. We want you to be here, but we need other players to match up with you. And we need the defensive side as well. And we need a leader guy, because Bregman is a leader. No matter what you guys talk about or anybody says about Bregman, he's a leader. He's one of the guys that took the Astros to the World Series and to those ALDS or DCS all those years for the Astros. So I think that's where they went wrong. But for me, the third baseman needs to be Bregman. So, yeah.
That's interesting. There's no way, man. I think Devers is going to start the season as a third baseman. Bregman already said he's willing to play second base. And that's all you need to hear. Once Bregman agreed to second base, you're not going to want to break up this locker room, guys. This is too early. You're talking about it's only spring training. There's no way you are going to cause this locker room, because that's how bad the season will go if this happens. You already seen time and time again how teams continue to struggle when they have a great roster. You're like, how? Well, there's always things going on in that locker room. And this could be another example of what could happen if you don't figure it out. Alex Cora is a good guy. He knows how to communicate with these players. He's a Latino. He speaks Spanish. He speaks English. And he has a great connection with Bregman. And I feel like he's going to tell Bregman, for now, you will be in second base unless Devers goes down.
Yeah, but you asked me, who would I go? You didn't ask me what the Red Sox are going to do, and I agree with you. I agree with you that the Red Sox are going to do that. Who would you want at third base if you were the GM and the manager for the Red Sox?
Yeah, man, I think you got to go Bregman. I think you're right. Oh, shit. Sorry. But at this point, man, yeah, it definitely has to be Bregman. Unfortunately, Devers would have to move to the DH role or first base. I'm sorry. You got to alternate here and there. It depends who has a hot hand in third. That's a hot corner. Some balls get hit pretty hard out there. So,
dude, okay, so we agree that Bregman deserves the third base, but is it going to happen? You completely said that the club cannot be torn apart with that. You have Tristan Casas coming out. He's a young buck. Oh, they're saying defending his third baseman. And of course, you don't want it any other way. You want the vet guy to get all the praise and all the backup he needs, even from a rookie guys. I know Tristan Casas didn't play all season last year, but he's defending his guy. And Bregman, he's outside. Of course, if I'm going to a new team, I need to do my due diligence. I need to perform. I need to show up here. I need to show that I can be a leader. I need to show that I can win with you guys. And I need to show that I can mesh with you guys, and I can hang out, go grab a beer after a game, talk crap on the dugout, back you up if we're going to get in a fight. I need to prove myself. And of course, he said, I'll play anywhere.
Right.
But this is drama already. And this drama is not needed with the Red Sox. Remember, last week, we called the Red Sox winning the division.
Yeah.
Are we
still? I'll take that back.
Right. I mean, we called the Red Sox winning the division last week before all this drama.
Yeah. And then you got Tristan Casas blowing it up. He's a young kid. He still needs a lot of coaching to do when he gets put on a mic, but it's part of the game, And the Red Sox are, now they're dealing with pitching injuries as well. And you're like, what is going on? Lucas Giolito, Cutter Crawford, Brian Bale, all dealing with some ailments right now. Doesn't look like maybe some of them won't even be ready for opening day. So that's a lot already concerning. A rough start for this Red Sox team, who has a lot of pressure to win because they saw that Yankee team go to the World Series. And I bet this Red Sox team tells themselves every day, we could have been there. that Yankee team wasn't even that great. We could have been in that same shoes as the Yankees.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to open the door to kind of having like we picked those up and we said they're winning the division, and it doesn't seem that they're going into the season being one of the favorites, especially with the drama, especially with all these injuries going on. So, I mean, anything else you want to say about this before we move on? Because there's so much we can say about.
Dude, I just feel like Bregman's going to have a comeback season. He has a lot to prove. I think he's still kind of butthurt that the Astros didn't pay him what he's worth. I think even though he got $40 million every 3 year, $120 million, 40 a year, that's a pretty good payday. But he was thinking 6 years, $200 million. And the Astros thought he wasn't worth it. And he thought he was going to be an Astro for life. And, when those guys get treated like that, they usually have a pretty good bounce back season. And I think Bregman's going to be that answer. I don't see him being like the best, but he's going to be a top tier second baseman.
You're like, let me choose my words correctly.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be both. Let's just say
he's
that.
He's going to be both.
Yeah.
Right now in spring training, he is practicing at third. I haven't seen him at second base, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I think it is going to happen. But we'll wait and see when that drama settles down and it all comes out. And if they're battling for the position, great. No position should be given. You should be out there trying to be your best every day. I know it's 162 games, but you are practicing. That's your job. And if you go out there and battle that you want their base, and maybe Devers wins that Gold Glove, and it'll shut me up completely because I'm picking Bregman over Devers right now, right? And so it'll shut me up. It probably is the competitiveness that Devers needs to succeed and become a better player. Now, with that said, if you move Devers from third base, and he's always played that position, which he said on the video in Spanish, he said that that's his position. He does not know any other position than just that. There's players that sink low. They go really low and they start in a slump because they're not playing their position. I said this last year with Gavin Lux. He's a shortstop by trade, but he was playing second base. He shows out when he plays in shortstop. Maybe Devers is one of those players, and they need to be really careful by doing things that he doesn't want to do because he knows himself. Superstition. We talked about superstition, right?
Ooh,
he's one of those players. He's one of those players.
Sander Bogarts reminds me as another example.
That's another one, dude. Sander Bogarts. He's a shortstop by trade, and they want him to play second base. He's going to play shortstop this year. Let's see. We're going to see those batting averages going up. I think we're going to see him in the 270s, 280s. So I'm just saying. But yeah, that I just wanted to throw that point out there. Let's go ahead and move on. If you don't have anything else to say about this topic, if you guys have anything to say, put it on the comments. We would really appreciate it, definitely. So we have heard some rumors again, and I'll put the pictures. The Astros are looking to try to trade for Nolan Arenado, and we've been saying Nolan Arenado a lot, but it hasn't happened yet. And do you think this will happen?
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely happen in the middle before the season starts. I think this Astros team got to see that Jose Altuve could play left field. And I think they started realizing, you know what, we just lost Bregman and we're got to compete again. And this AL West is open. We got to give it a shot. We could probably be one of the best defensive third basemen out there in the market. Why not give it a shot? You move Isaac Paredes to second and you already have Christian Walker at first. That would be a stacked infield. Yeah. Now, Arenado sold a lot of money for the next 3 years. And I think the Cardinals, originally Arenado said, I don't want to go to Houston back in December. But I think he was just weighing his options. He was trying to see what other teams would make the phone call. 3 months later, and no one else has reached out. And it's been a quiet offseason for Arenado. And I think this Cardinals team is like, this is the best chance to get something out of him. Let's do it now. And I think Arenado also noticed, you know what? This Cardinals team is not putting anything out there for us to compete this season. Why am I going to stick around and get traded in the middle of the season? Why not just start already a fresh start with a new team that's going to be competitive from day one?
Yeah. Yeah. And he's getting older. Every year that passes by is a year that he's not winning the World Series with the Cardinals. And the Cardinals was always a team that made it to the playoffs and always competed. And now they didn't sign Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt signed with the Yankees. Now he's the oldest player out in that team. Yes. And he's a Gold Glover. the Astros lost a Gold Glover. Why not replace him with another Gold Glover? Of course, he's not going to be the same guy he was with the Rockies, he was with the Cardinals, but he is going to give you that leadership as well. He is going to kind of give you. He's been to the World Series before. He has with the Rockies, so he knows how to get there. It's just he needs those players to kind of mesh with him.
A long time ago.
It was a long time ago. He needs those players that can get him there, and I think the Astros know how to get to the championship, the league championship, and then possibly the World Series, and possibly even win it. And maybe Arenado needs to think a little twice about that because he's trying to win it just like any other player is. He is getting older. Last year he didn't do so well though, like a 272 batting average compared to his years before. You're talking about the Cardinals. His highest batting average there was at 293. With the Rockies, of course, you have that inflation because of the high mile and the Rocky Mile high stadiums out there.
Elevation.
315, exactly. So you're still going to get a high IQ baseball player. You're still going to get a guy that gets on base. You're still going to get a leader. So I'm all for it, dude. I think he does go to the Astros. And so much hate we give to the Astros. And it is a baseball team, and we love that players that have been showing up to every series with the Cardinals, with the Rockies. He does deserve a shot to try to go to the championship and make a team a lot better than what they are at this point. And I think he'll make it to the next level for the Astros. So watch out, Yankees.
Yeah, man. Talking about a future Hall of Famer like Arenado, I think he deserves a chance to compete. There's no reason he should be in St. Louis. They did nothing this offseason. They had one of the worst off seasons ever in history, possibly. They want to go younger. They're trading all their, their more experienced players. And it's like, what's going on in St. Louis? Do they just feel like the NL Central's weak this year that they could just compete? It's unlike the Cardinals tradition. I'm not sure what's going on, but for Arenado, it's best if he just moves on and starts with the Astros because he's going to control the third base. And I know Isaac Paredes is also the new guy. He's going to be forced to play second, unfortunately. And Altuve is willing to play left field, which is unheard of. But if he's for it, why not? And I think he's proven spring training the past 3 days that he could do it. So why not?
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, let's move on to the last topic. And I think I have one more after that, but let's talk about this guy here. And the Blue Jays, man. The Blue Jays was given a time to give him a contract. And Vladdy Guerrero was even thinking like, okay, they didn't meet me where I wanted to go. And I think at this point, it's not a good relationship, the Blue Jays and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. I feel like he might get traded. There's been talks already about teams that are talking to the Blue Jays, like the Red Sox are a team that's doing it. I heard a little bit of the Yankees, but that wasn't solid and concrete evidence of them showing interest on him, but that could be a potential place for him. But I just feel like maybe he should play out this year to the highest if he can do it and try to possibly win a World Series with the Blue Jays so he can get his payday. What do you think?
No, I totally agree with you. I think Vladdy Jr. is a perennial all-star first baseman that we have in this league. First base is pretty weak in the MLB, if you ask me. And I think Vladdy Guerrero stands as number one all over the MLB and first base. I think this guy has to perform well this year to get a huge payday because this Blue Jay team was low-balling big time on him, man. You may say he doesn't deserve that money, but hey, there's no other first baseman that has a capacity to do what he does on a daily basis. He hits some bombs out there, and Rogers Center, those balls get hit pretty hard out there. So it's one of those, man. This guy, if he stays with the Blue Jays this year, he's going to be getting a $500 million type contract next year. A lot of people may be saying that's too much money. He deserves it, though. There's nobody else better than him. You can name any first baseman that you could think of right now that has a better potential than Vladdy Guerrero because he's only 25 years old. Yeah. Super young. You know, he fell second place to Shohei in 2021 to the MVP voting. And in 2024, he had a bounce back season. Yeah, he's had some struggling years, but who doesn't in the MLB? It's part of the game. It's part of growing. And right now he's approaching his 25 to 30 years, and that's going to be the best prime time for him to grow and develop into a Hall of Famer.
So you think he doesn't sign with the Blue Jays, even though the Blue Jays had a time to do it? They could still talk to him.
No, they screwed up big time. They were supposed to lock it in right now. They didn't. And Vladdy Guerrero said he wants to be a Blue Jay for life, but if you can't meet him what he's demanding, then you already screwed up that relationship. And now you have 30 MLB teams that will be calling next free agency and going to give him whatever he wants. The highest bidding is going to be a big bidding war for him. It's going to be another Soto case for him. And who you see signing Vladdy next year? Because I don't see him coming back to the Blue Jays.
Dude, I just okay. Before I get to where he's going to go, what is he going to get? 400, 500? What range do you think he's going to get? I wanted to ask that before I say what team he's going to go to.
All right, let's just, for me, honestly, he deserves 475, but I think he's going to get 550.
550. And
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of dough.
That is a lot of dough. And if you go and get 550, who can give him that contract? For me, I think the Yankees will be dumb if they don't offer that to him. They just signed Goldschmidt for 1 year.
Yep.
Pretty much a rental for 1 year. Now you sign your guy that's going to be the next guy after Judge leaves because he's only 25 years old. And you give him that big contract playing first and get those numbers in that little porch out there in Yankee Stadium. Dude, that's just a match made in heaven. He has come out and said, though, that he does not want to play for the Yankees. He doesn't like that organization. But with the beard and the long hair and everything that's going on, and of course, you just did it. Money talks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Money talks. So I think the Yankees should do it. But then there's another team across town from the Yankees that are the Mets. He can play third base as well. And the Mets need a third baseman, and they could go ahead and get Vladdy Guerrero Jr. to play third base. And then you're talking about an elite team. Forget the Dodgers. You're talking about the Mets now being the powerhouse, signing these big old contracts and young ass kids, because Soto's not an old guy, even though we think he might be. You have
Definitely.
Guerrero going out there. It's going to be 26 if they do sign him. So it's kind of scary, dude. It's scary to see these big old markets go after these players. And the Blue Jays, like you said, they do have trouble getting players to play out in Canada and Toronto. So I think they should have locked them up. They should have.
You're right. I definitely see him. Right now the Yankees are the heavily favorites to sign him for next season. I would love for him to follow his dad's footsteps and go from Canada to the Angels.
The Angels.
How about that? Wouldn't that be beautiful? I think he's going West Coast. I think Artie Moreno needs to spend money, and he's desperate to get another star in the Angels uniform. We're known to get players like that. We give bad contracts all the time. So why not give another bad one while we're at it?
So I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that, but Artie Moreno's first move as an owner was to go ahead and get Vladdy Guerrero Sr. That was his biggest move. He said it from the get-go. My guy is going to be Vlad. When he was with the Expos, he became a free agent. I need to go get him. And he went and got him. He got the big contract. And it would be awesome if he did that. I mean, he was out here as a kid in Anaheim, right?
Right.
So what are the chances that happen, though? You think that they have a good relationship?
I think so. I think he enjoys coming back to California, and he likes to spend time here. If not the Angels, depending how Artie Moreno goes about this season, because has a possibility of still selling the team at the end of the year, because he has mentioned that he's projected to lose $40 to $50 million this year. He's going to be in the negative, according to him. I don't see it. It looks like people are not buying tickets. Television rights are not going that well for him, so he's losing out on money. So we'll all see how all that plays out for this season. But another team that I haven't brought up, but I think it's the Giants that have a pretty good shot. They've been in the mix in the biggest high-tier free agents the past years, and you bring a guy like Buster Posey, and who wants to win and wants to compete against the Dodgers. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vladdy could go to San Francisco and play out there.
Yeah. And
is that a crazy take?
No, it's not, because the Giants do have a nice pitching staff out there. And, last year they went ahead and signed Young Hoo Lee, the son of the Wind,
Yes.
Right? Which he got injured. He did not play, but we're going to get to see him full stride this year. We're going to see Chapman, Willie Adames sign out there. And, there's still a few pieces away from becoming a team that needs to compete out in the West. You still have the Padres, D-backs, and Dodgers in that division, which you needed to do a little bit more to become a elite. And I'm not saying they're going to, just bend over and take it. They're going to be a good team as well, but are they going to be part of those big three in the West right now? I don't see it. If they go ahead and get and maybe even trade this year for Vladdy Guerrero, I think they're going to be in the mix. And I don't see them not trying to go get them because they do have the money. They do have the fans out there that's going to pay that ticket. So there's money. There's money. And there's money here in Anaheim if they bring them too. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of money in California right now. So I don't see that being a stretch at all. I think it's a good pick. And I went East Coast because the big markets out there, because those are the top teams that needs those first basemen to make it to the next level. So
I already see
definitely not a
everyone
bad
saying
trade.
the Dodgers going to go ahead and sign him. What about that?
I've
Would that
heard
ruin the
that.
game?
I heard that though. I heard a lot about that. I don't know how I feel about it though. I don't think the Dodgers would go after Vladimir Guerrero, knowing that Freddie Freeman's there,
Exactly.
and knowing that you still have a third baseman out in the minors that's already getting developed. I don't see that happening. But there's a lot of talk that the Dodgers are interested in Vladimir Guerrero. So I'm like, why? But hey, if they go get him, I won't be upset. But at the same time, I'm kind of just like, how is that going to work? We want every player. We don't even have a spot. We don't have a 40 no spot on the 40-man roster. So how is
Yeah,
that
you
going
know,
to happen?
Dodgers have done things this year that no one has ever seen from
No.
a front office do. You know, your question, like, how would it be possible even to bring this guy? The Dodgers find a way. And that just speaks well about their organization and how Andrew Freeman and upper management is running that organization.
Yeah. Since you brought up the Dodgers, I wanted to talk about Bregman. He did do deferred money. He did 20 million a year deferred money, which is
Oh,
he was going to get paid 40. He's going to get paid 20 those 3 years, of
okay.
course, and then he's going to get deferred those 60 million. So
That's a smart
they are
move.
it's all deferred. It's all deferred. So the Red Sox was one of the organizations saying that they don't want to fall into that trap, but they went ahead and did that. And the other organization that doesn't want to do it is the Cubs. And the owner and everybody, GM, came out saying that they're not going to spend a lot of money, even though those tickets are expensive. I think they need to give them a good product on the field. They went and got Tucker, but Tucker's going to become a free agent. It would be crazy if he accepts a contract from the Cubs at this point. I just wanted to throw that out
Yeah.
before we log out. We got time, so I just feel like he's going to become a free agent and not accept anything from the Cubs because there's going to be money out there. So you're going to have Vlad and Tucker in the same free agency market. So it's going to be crazy next year. We thought this year was insane. Wait till next year. We're going to see some high freaking contracts, man. You're talking about the 15 years, maybe Vladdy Guerrero, right?
Yep.
So 15-year
15-year
deal or
contract?
less.
I
He's
see a
25,
13-year
26.
13-year
13,
contract.
13
Yeah,
year.
38 sounds about right. When he turns 38, you know, probably be retired by then.
Because Juan Soto got 15, right? 15 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And you kind of see him a little bit pudgy, like he's gaining weight. So I don't know, man.
He got a month to figure that out because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. What about Tucker, dude? You think he's going to get a 10 or 15?
Oh, he's definitely getting a 10-year deal somewhere. I know he's in the 27 years old right now, but he deserves to get paid as well. And I don't see the Cubs spending any money. So
No.
I'm not sure where he's going to land, but he's definitely heading somewhere either West or East Coast, depending his preference.
Damn, it looks like the East and West is dominating right now.
Yeah,
And
it really
we need
is.
the Central to kind of step it up. At least 2 teams to step it up. You have the Cubs that are a big market. They have a big following. Why not spend on your product? Why don't you put a product out there that can compete, which they do have this year? They have a nice team, but why not put more money? You have the Guardians that did not, win and got good pieces for their team, which they've been leading the Central for a long time. Why not?
Went to the ALCS last year, and you didn't make moves to compete against the Yankees. That was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
You trade Josh Naylor, your first baseman, who had a great year for pitching. It was a strange move there. You're talking about the Cardinals, a team with tradition and not doing any crazy moves.
Yeah.
The Pirates are the Pirates. They never do anything. And I question the Pirates now because you have 2 young pitchers like Jamani Jones and Paul Skeens who are your future. What's going to happen? You're going to limit your pitching innings every year because what are you doing to provide? You provided no offense for them, no type of support.
No.
And what are you going to do? These poor guys are just going to have to throw so many innings to win a game. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's going to be a normal where we talked about last week where we were saying about 6-man rotations. That's going to happen next year. And this year it's evolving to that. It's one of the first steps to 6-man rotation, but I guarantee next year since we've seen a lot of Tommy John surgeries happening last year, I think it's going to be the way to go with 6-man rotation. I don't know about no 7, no 8 rotation. I don't think that's going to happen. That's just too much. You may have your starters. You might have your starters, but you might have spot starters going in between or missing a start so you can rest that arm. Dude, I pitched on Saturday to the kids for practice, and my arm is killing me right now, dude. It's
man, put some ice on it, man. Put some ice.
It's falling off right now. Like, oh man. But dude, it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I haven't thrown in a while. I was striking them out. It's not that I wanted to strike them out. I wanted them to hit the ball out and be happy.
But I feel good, huh? Pitching against kids. Yes.
Yeah. It was fun. Kind of making me feel like, should I start playing again? But at this age, I don't know. I don't want to be sore all day and not be able to do anything. Right now, I feel good. It's a good sore. It just motivate me to kind of stay in shape and keep doing what I need to do to throw those pitches to my kids and let them hit the ball. So
for sure, man. I'm excited that you're still playing some type of baseball, man.
Yeah. All right, man. I don't know if we reached that hour because our timer says 1 hour, but we started 4 minutes after. We ran through all the topics. We went through the ABS system, Yankees beer rule, ESPN leaving baseball, and MLB leaving ESPN. Who is the third baseman for the Red Sox? And Arenado to the Astros. We might see that maybe before the season starts, and Vladdy Jr. might get traded or become a free agent next year, and we'll see his contract develop. Anything you want to say before we log off, Ernie?
Well, I just want to thank all our listeners for tuning in. I just want to mention that to make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you're a first-time listener. We're happy to have you guys on the show every Sunday night here at 7 p.m. West time, Pacific time, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, we'll be here every Sunday talking baseball. We're excited to be here for another year of 2025. Carlos, man, we had a great show today. But this is going to be an awesome season, and we're going to be watching the Thanos Dodgers go against the MLB and see if we could take them down finally.
So, yeah, man. So that's not always biased. You guys already know that Ernie's an Angel fan, and he sees something wrong with the Dodgers. Of course, he's going to call it out, and I'll be here to defend it if I can. But it is baseball. We love talking baseball, and this is what this show's about. We love the input you guys have in there. And if you guys haven't hit the like on other other social medias that we have, because we are on Instagram, we are on X, we are on TikTok, and of course YouTube. We're all on those platforms. We do go on Spotify. If you guys don't want to look at the video, you guys can go to Spotify. I think the video shows on Spotify too, right, Ernie?
It does. Spotify shows the video too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. So you guys can catch it. It's not old news, it's new news. We do have the fantasy show on Thursday. They're live. You guys want to win your league? Ask those guys anything. They'll go ahead and give you the information. But that's it, man. I'll go ahead and say our goodbyes. From all of us here on Real Talk Baseball and CarloBaseball, this is Ernie Orange. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.